Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays Planet Coaster, and if I'm being honest, sorta just endeavors to fill some space over here and also start generating more traffic in this area. I was thinking recently, like, what's the difference between Planet Coaster and RimWorld? And there's a lot of them, obviously. Excuse me, I don't want binza, I just want bins, and then I want to move the mouse with the WASD. I just wanted a rustic sort of western bin. There we go. And I think the difference is, obviously RimWorld is meant to be more intense. I fucking hate you trash vessels. RimWorld is obviously meant to be more intense, less forgiving, and Planet Coaster is meant to be a little bit more of a sandbox with elements that make it a little bit more simulation-y. I want to see if our janitor will actually make it up there. It looks like he's going to turn. He's charted a course. He likes a girl in a short skirt and a long jacket. Yeah, he's going to take care of it. But as your colony expands in RimWorld, things become more challenging. Like, markedly more challenging, depending on how things go. That's not totally true, actually. Like, the start of RimWorld might be the worst. You know, things eventually can kind of automate themselves. But as you grow, you know, you face more and more difficult raids. You know, enemies are stronger, they carry better weapons, and there's more of them. Whereas in Planet Coaster, I think we've kind of, like, past the point where the game becomes more difficult, and we're really just sort of coasting. We have a couple of different self-guided spectrums that we can use to judge our progress. Guest happiness is one of them. Profitability is one of them. Attendance is one of them, I suppose. But apart from that, I mean, we could leave this going for conceivably, you know, 24 hours without me having any input on it, and it would be fine. Whereas if we did that in RimWorld, I mean, in theory, you might be able to make that fine, but in practice, you know, your life is probably going to be hell by the end of that time spent there. But that's not to say I'm losing my enjoyment when it comes to Planet Coaster, merely that I'm having to find enjoyment in alternate things. I'm finding a lot more enjoyment in designing coasters, even though I'm terrible at it. I do want to take a look and just see, well, we're back to 100% happiness, which is beautiful. What are our underperforming rides and attractions? We're losing money on bumper cars. Crank up the price. We're losing money on Starman. Crank up the price. We're losing a lot of money on Major Nelson's console launch. Basically, I think anything losing money gets a 50 cent to a dollar increase in its price, based on the amount of money it's losing. And if people decide they don't want to ride it anymore, we'll reevaluate. Please don't vom. That's now a $9 ride. Nathan Drake's Uncharted. Dude, people will not pay. You know what? I think they will pay $12 to ride Nathan Drake's Uncharted. Underground Worm Colony. It's making so much money. People will pay $17.50. Coldplay Simulator just got started. But we can charge at least $12 for a brand new roller coaster. Stealth is a $20 roller coaster that's still making money. The Burn Twist is making money. I don't even remember what it is. Solaire's Trampoline. How is it possible that a ride that consistently has a full line is losing money? Like, that seems unbelievable to me. People love it. So, honestly, queue up, son. What about $14? That sounds fair to me. Green Miracle's making money. The Dragons of Camelot is no longer making money. $25 is a ridiculous price to pay for a roller coaster. But in that first Pirate Park, people will pay it, dude. For the wooden monster or whatever it's called. Tower of Terror is not making money. I think that's more of a, not a whole lot of people are visiting this side of the park sort of thing. Rob's Real Redemption, crank that up to $12. Coasters are getting a slightly disproportionately higher increase. Hamburger Island. I don't even remember what Hamburger Island is. It's one of those rides in the lagoon section of the park. Dude, Aladdin's Shoehorn made money last month. And the Real Yankee Doodle, no, I'm just disappointed for Mouth now. That roller coaster's good. Why would that be losing money? I'm assuming that's a I mean, it's got a lineup. I'm assuming it's just inefficient because the ride takes a long time. I'm not going to hold that against him. You know, our park's doing fine now. We might have also just had a lot of, you know, inopportune maintenance issues and stuff like that that could have created a problem. This is now broken down. I'm still trying to drive more traffic out here. I was thinking we could actually build a wooden roller coaster. Wooden roller coasters benefit from having a lot of real estate. We do have to think about where we're going to expand our park. If we're going to expand. And I don't know if, like, endless expansion is the right idea. But we can probably do something like, make a very wide cobblestone path. We could do it like this. Now, we're expanding from an area that's not very popular into an area that's going to be even less popular because it's got less to draw from. But keep in mind, you know, this is our most ridiculous, like, intersection right here and right here. We can't really expand from this direction. We're building this park quite densely. I mean, there's some sections that are not quite super full, but that's largely because you just can't build everywhere. Like, if you have track, you can't build in such a way that, you know, you obscure the track. So, I think I'm just gonna build out like this. We're gonna build like a square around the apex of Real Yankee Doodle here, you know, like that turn on which it comes back in. With enough space for us to put some shops and facilities at the end of it. And this also gives us a logical area to stage a roller coaster. For example. Still kind of a dead man's curve, but we can do like... We can't make it any shorter is the thing here. I don't know. Okay, what about that? That's not so bad. Move this or delete this. We should start with trash cans, and sometimes people say, NL, you put way too many trash cans around. I don't necessarily disagree, but you saw what happened when I forgot trash cans. People just started throwing their trash everywhere. I think we live in a delicate balance with nature in this park, and we've got to be cautious. I'm just going to go for park bins, which I think are these ones right here. And this can be the theme park section of the park. This can be the park that's like, I don't know, you know. At one point, it was licensed out to, like, Guardians of the Galaxy or, like, you know, Daredevil before the Netflix show took off. And now, like, the license expired, and Marvel was like, well, I'm not going to pay for that. Are you kidding me? Like, you know... Give that money to Robert Downey Jr. instead. So, we're now, you know, this is just like the Adventure Zone or something like that. Every theme park's got something like this. We are making more money after, upping our prices. But it honestly may be the upped prices. It could also fairly easily just be that, again, one ride is now no longer broken down. We do also have, like, a lot of space that we just terraformed. So I'm hesitant to build out in such a way that we take up all this space. But it's so far away. What we could do is the same thing I originally sought to do here. Start our roller coaster on the top of a platform so we have space to build underneath it. And a wooden roller coaster usually takes up a lot of space. Why would I want a wooden roller coaster? They're popular. I think they're relatively easy to build, and they tend to do pretty well, financially speaking. Yeah, we're still making money here, and I'm looking to see. You know, we could spend another $5,000 on marketing. Honestly, our park's holding it together with 6,000 attendees, which I'm pretty stoked about. We do have a lot of wasted space in here as well, but it's not really wasted space. You go to a theme park, it's not just like fucking Kowloon walled city in there, right? Like, you gotta have some empty space, otherwise people are gonna be clipping their kneecaps on, you know, the brain scrambler. You don't want that to happen. Amazingly, we have a lineup for Aladdin's Shoe. Major Nelson's console launch, not necessarily killing it. Doing okay on the Coldplay Simulator. You know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If we get more traffic over here, it's just a positive overall. Are both of these places profitable? You didn't make money last month. You did. Okay. So basically, you know, people are still hungry and thirsty. So I was thinking maybe we just throw in like a Cosmic Cow milkshake over here again. I know that we have about 1,000 of them. By the way, I saw your complaints. How do you... Edit building, right? Go up, edit building. There you go. That is not a good Cosmic Cow milkshake. As long as people are complaining about hunger and thirst, I think it is sensible to be like, okay, grab another Mexalente. And our sci-fi section of the park is not that popular, but this area right here is. So we'll just set this like right here. It's gonna be a little noisy. You're gonna have to yell to order at this Mexalente, but that's what you get when you're near the Dragons of freaking Camelot, bud. And it's a busy intersection, so I think if there's hunger, this will be taken care of more readily here. And we'll do the same thing. You know, we'll throw down like a Pip Shot or a Gulpy Soda. Why not? We'll throw down a Gulpy Soda like right next to it. Now, they're not very inspired from a scenery standpoint. To be honest with you, I'm kind of getting over that, you know, like, the park looks good. And it's a bad habit to just say we're not going to worry about scenery, because this is not one episode of, you know, putting a bunch of trees down. This is several episodes of actually, to some extent at least, paying attention to what we're doing. So I am going to just go grab some bushes and, you know, we'll grab some rocks. Just throw these down here. It's just to give the illusion that I actually care about what this section of the park, you know, looks like. It's not to say I don't care about the park. I care about the park, at least, you know, on a digital level. But it's more like I don't necessarily care about how the park looks to this degree. I care more about how it operates. Let me put it this way. No one's going to be hiring me as an interior designer. Maybe a process analysis or process analyst. And I'm okay with that. I understand that should not be there. I understand my lot in life, and I accept it, and I agree with it. So you might say that's a lot of bushes. I say, hey, functional scenery on the cheap, son. Delete. Okay. So it's probably, I don't know, it's again, the chicken or the egg. There's a lot of demand for hunger or there's a lot of demand for food and drink here. By fulfilling that demand, I'm probably going to make this area busier. So be it, I suppose. Cool. I think we're gonna try to build a wooden roller coaster. And to be honest with you, pretty much bricked up the past few coasters. So I'm... let's hope that this one could be a mea culpa. Let's put it that way. I like a wooden roller coaster. I'm a sucker for it. It's an all-ages coaster, which... I think all wooden roller coasters are all ages in the game, at least. So... I'm eager to try that out. We could even do Canyon Runner instead of... What's the other one that's always... that I always use here? The Monster. Ah, but the Monster looks so classic. Yeah, I got to. There's something about a wooden roller coaster, man. It's the way it shakes your bones. He got his bones rattled. I think every single roller coaster we have just goes out and then comes back. What if this one goes out like this? Ooh, but it needs space to come back around at the end. And remember we were talking like we could raise it. Like this. And this is exactly what we tried to do last time. So if this fails, and I would not be surprised if it does, that'd be a bummer. Yeah, I mean, it would just be a bummer. Maybe this is where we should build our, like, mountain path, but we can always build a mountain under the station if it works. Yeah, let's not commit to that in advance here. So let's get an absolute view of how far away this will be, just to get an idea of how long the queue will be, and I think that is a reasonable location here. I like the idea of it just initially starting you off in a drop. Like, we've used this on some other rides. It gives you that, like, immediate boost of excitement, which I think is nice. Well, let's Control-Z that. That's a little ridiculous. It gives you that immediate boost to excitement, which is important, I think, on your roller coasters. I'm going to turn off auto-tunneling for now, just because it can look hideous. This is not really the smoothest drop of all time, but that's okay. And then we can even throw in a lift in this direction and preserve some real estate there. Like, what I mean is, you know, extend this. Can we even overbank a turn on this? No. Okay, so just extend this, and we'll start the test here. Again, I think having a long debugging process is important. Just throw them for like a little bit of a loop here. And they're actually like sort of pleased with life here. They might not be going, you know, the fastest they've ever gone in their lives, but that's okay. Twist them back, and then we'll throw them on a lift hill up. I don't know how far out we can actually go here. It might not be as far as I'd like. And honestly, I think that's probably like high enough. We could actually throw... I want to try this, throwing a block section in at the top. Is that a block section? Like... Okay, it is a block section. We do need to make sure that the roller coaster realizes it's meant to be blocked instead of just not, because I think that could happen. What's the point of this block section at the top? The idea is that it would lead to... that chain lift needs to be faster, for one, but it would lead to more excitement and maybe anticipation while they're up there. Like, they should get stopped there. Yep, there they go, stopping. Okay, done? Just let me see if are you gonna let me do this? You gonna let me make this blocked off? Maybe we have to complete it in order to make it a block section track? Yeah, that's probably true. So we'll throw those block sections into the top, and then hopefully we won't have to go back and change the entire roller coaster to make this work. So, still making a lot of money. That's great news. Edit track. Okay, so we got that block section at the front of the track. We have to drop people after that. You got to give them a little speed. That's probably too much for a wooden roller coaster. They're going to lose their freaking minds. But you got to give them... Not a block section, please. You got to give them some speed. Maybe like a 45-degree angle. And then you can start to throw them for some sweet loops here. Like a helix down to the left, for example. Half helix? That's a helix. And we just want to extend this as large as it'll go, while still, like, amping up the enjoyment factor. And that's just a beautiful sight right there. We built, like, a coliseum. I want to see how they enjoy this so far. Excitement tanks less, which is good news. But they are kind of unexcited for, like, a while. Dude, they're going pretty fast there. They get very afraid. Okay, so we probably need to slow them down before they go on that general experience. Or just make the half helix like a little less. Like, that is dirty. I would love for that to be our signature element on this coaster. But we need to drop them a little further, a little faster. Because we're going to need to turn them, you know? And we don't necessarily have a lot of space left before the turn. So, again, please, no block section. If you drop them at like a 45, and just keep it going. How do they feel about this? Pretty classic Loch Ness monster-y shape here. It maintains like greens all the way. Then we throw in this little dirty boy right here, but obviously like that's far too large. And that even still is far too large. Is there really... That's as small as this can get? I know it's not going to make it, but I have to see if there's any conceivable way. Like, just in terms of, like, from a gravity standpoint, a physics standpoint, this doesn't make sense that this could climb this. So, yeah, okay, that's fair. So we're going to go back to speed 1 and control Z that. That element just will not work. Should throw... There we go, some half helixes up to the left or something, and we can... Basically, I'm trying to make like an overbanked turn. Why does that look like a... Look like a station again? Which is not what I want. I'm just trying to avoid ridiculous nausea. See how they like this. So far, like, I wish you could see, like, what the stats would be if the roller coaster just ended with everything else being exactly the same. I guess that's not really how it works, though, because there's peaks and valleys. So they go down, and it's pretty green. Turn throws us into the yellow on everything. And the drop actually puts us back in, like, a pretty good spot. In fact, we have a little bit of excitement that we could, if I'm being honest, afford to bleed. So we'll throw in, like, a little bit of a straightaway here. And then if we could just turn them back to the right here. And kind of just do the same thing. Like, as lame as this might look... No, you were doing a good thing there. As lame as this might look, this might totally work. And it also could be high enough that we could build stuff in between the supports on the coaster, and as long as the park doesn't undergo, you know, just an absolutely horrible accident at some point, causing severe loss of life, I think that, like, this could be a decent ride here. So how do they like it? They go down. We're back in the greens, predominantly. We go in the yellow for a bit. We go in the yellow for too long, probably. You really get slow going up there. In fact, you go into the red. That's not horrible, but I think it's an indication that this is just a little bit too slow. So we're gonna actually drop you even a little bit further, and then level you out. And hopefully, the speed on that is good. But you lose a little bit of speed on the straightaway, I suppose. So then we'll throw in half helix up to the right. That's down. I know we could auto-tunnel, but I just spent all this time making this beautiful, level terrain. I want to take advantage of it. You know, probably the secret is throw them for a smaller gain in altitude that time. So let's see how they feel here. It looks like excitement's going to be good. Fear might be a little high. Nausea goes up there for a bit. Fear goes back to a good spot. Dude, every single time we go over one of those hills, they're like green and loving it. The nausea does amp up a little bit. It's going to be like the most expensive wooden roller coaster ever built. It's also the laziest idea for a roller coaster in planet Earth's long and illustrious history. It's basically just the exact same element over and over. But honestly, if people are digging it, that's music to my ears. We could always smooth this out to make it a little easier. Just, you know, I'm following the debugging process live here, making sure it goes down. Stats are pretty good. They're not loving things when they come around the corner. Little too nauseating, a little not exciting enough, a little too fearful. And then they get a little whipped around the edge there on that one. But then when they hit this hill, they're loving life. Excitement is just ridiculous. Probably they get a little too nauseous around this turn. But still in the yellows. Excitement is starting to bleed at the end there, so we're not going to make it go any higher. I think we should dip them to keep that excitement up. I think we should maybe throw in a break there. And then, honestly, like, the autocomplete is admittedly a bad habit, but if we could just throw in, like, a small, like, trim break right there. Just see how people feel after they've ridden the whole roller coaster. It's a little flat for what I would normally like, but I'm fairly pleased with it. How are we doing on finances here? Minus $6,000, huh? That seems pretty bad. So yeah, we do hit the red there a little. They're a little too afraid, and I can understand that reasoning. But all in all, the stats on this actually feel pretty good. They spend a little bit of time in the yellow, a very, very little bit of time in the red, as long as they don't get screwed at the end here. They're not even going to be able to make it to the end, actually. So, you know, that's a bummer. Maybe they don't even need the trim brakes there. Maybe that can just be regular track. And then we'll take it up to speed 3. Just to watch it happen here. Are you interested in going? I didn't click start. There you go. That'll stop you. Here it goes. I just wanted to complete so I can know what the stats are like. And I know what to change and what not to change. And what I'm getting at is, like, the reason I want this to have some altitude is so we can build, like, another park inside of this roller coaster. As ridiculous as that may sound. They don't get whipped that bad at the end. Dude, this is so close to being an all-green coaster. So let's stop the test quickly. Where is the excitement hitting at low points? Honestly, the climb. And much to my chagrin, this little opening section, but it's not that bad during the opening section, actually. It's really just the fact that the climb is so long. But if we shorten the climb, they're not gonna be stoked. I'm really surprised that excitement does not quite hit the green here. I'm tempted to not even, like, mess with it, but I think maybe, I'll tell you what. What in the world was that? Don't do that. Grab this piece of track right here. Yeah, that's the one. This is dumb. What I'm doing here is a dumb idea. And I am a dumb man for trying it, but sure, okay. Start the test! Immediately nausea hits like 50. You know what? They stay a little excited there off the drop. If that's enough to... I don't even care about the overall ride experience. If that gets them into the green on excitement, I'm a happy camper. And it does. The last thing I'll say is, they're also getting really bored because of this block section up here. The idea is that, you know, if we go back to our operations, we go block sections, say number of trains, you run 2 of those dang old trains, and then we say stop test, start test, and we get a better idea. We can run 2 trains on the same time. Hopefully they're a little bit more excited at the start of this ride. Research is ready to be revealed? News to me, dude. We have another... Well, you're done. Why is this other one coming back around here? I don't understand. Why does it take so long to run a roller coaster? Like... There we go. We're back at the base. It's worse... You're actually less happy with that block section at the top. Okay, well that's actually makes my life a lot easier. Because, we can just take this, make it track, lower this, and lower this. And just get you started on the high-octane thrill ride a little earlier. Also, that might be bad for nausea. We can always control Z. You know, I've been trying to make these profitable block section roller coasters. This one seems like it's super close to being there, but the block section should be at the end as opposed to being at the top of the coaster. That's fine. If we're only running one track, like, we're making money hand over fist, dude. All I need to do is not fuck it up miserably. So, you come to base there. You're in the greens on everything. Hell yeah. The monster won. This is, let the good times roll. Let them move you around. You guys like the Cars? That's not a really flattering Rick Okachek impression, but... Also, I'm a big dumb idiot, and the cue really should be coming from, like, the other direction here, but... You know what? I'm your big dumb idiot. I mean, oh, you know, this, okay, let's not be stupid. Edit track. I mean, this is the first thing you should look at when you make this freaking thing, but you should enter right, exit right. And then you should also take my hand, because we're also off to Never Never Land, and like do and all that. You're testing. You run the test. Yeah. I mean, while you're testing, I'll place the entrance. That doesn't bother me. And while you're testing, I'll place the exit. That doesn't bother me. And it's a long climb. I'm not going to say that it's not a long climb here. I think that basically with our entrance, you should spend a little bit of time at the top. Get an idea for how the coaster feels up here. You probably don't need too long of a queue for this, but you gotta admit, the coaster turned out, dude. And then we're gonna level you out. And we're gonna start to pull you down here. At an angle just divergent enough to look extremely annoying. Then we're gonna bend you again. We have to do this awful serpentine thing because of the elevation of this ride. This is basically Fruit of the Flume 2.0 here. Let me put it this way. I don't think there's too much chance of a priority pass getting built here. I also don't think there's too much of a chance of us having a high Q rating. But we'll endeavor to have the highest Q rating possible. Because, you know, we built a roller coaster. Contrary to popular belief, we did not build a shopping mall. We built a roller coaster. We're starting to actually, like, lose money consistently. Which is mildly troubling. Without a doubt. Alright, so that's what you have to do to make it to the grounds in time here. I'm just gonna open this straight up. And if people don't want to ride it right now, don't ride it right now. You know, we can afford to operate this at a loss. No, that's just ridiculous. Don't be like that. I mean, it's like, you know, it's a little bit of a walk when you get off it. But you've been eating Cosmic Cow milkshakes and going to Guy Fieri's Finished Smokehouse day after day. Honestly, you could use, like, an experience like this. A little bit of exercise never hurt anybody, except that dude who popularized jogging and died of a heart attack. But that's probably, like, mostly coincidental. So, last thing we gotta do here, obviously, close it. Get on the ride camera. Well, wait, test it. Stop test. Open it. Get on the ride camera. Let's do it. Woo! Launch me! I'm the CEO! You freaking launch me, okay? If I ask to be launched, you push the... You gotta launch it! It's a marketing thing. Launch the coaster. Oh, we going? She won't push the button. I just want her to push the button. Okay, well, in the interim period, fuck it. I mean, if we're not making any money, test. Here we go. Ride cam. Oh, she pulled the lever. All right. Starts you. Oh, it's a stroke of genius. Laterno Coasters does it again. Nice little banked incline, and then I like that because you start the lift hill with some momentum. So instead of being like ga-dunk, 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 you're like whoosh, you know, you got that huge launch to begin with. You come up over the top, you're like, well, was this thing built in the 1930s? And then they drop you, and you're like, oh, that's not that bad. And then all of a sudden, you're like, that's not that bad. And then you're like, okay, now we're in this for real. Does that sound normal, you ask? And then you're like, that's... Oh! They drop you. And then they bring you back. This side doesn't even have railings. They tilt you. They tilt you the whole way, apparently, which is an accident, I'll admit. And then they shake you back to reality like that. And they keep you tilted. But then eventually, mercifully, they level you out on that one. I can tell you straight up, short of $30 tickets, this is going to be an unprofitable coaster. Takes a long time to ride it. That being said, I'm proud of the fact that it has decent stats. It's open for business again. Next episode, we'll work on the queue and park expansion or densification in this general area. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you have, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. And, of course, subscribe if you'd like to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.